So this is the fourth time I'm doing this. This is part 3 of what if Deku class 1A and B were in Tower of God. Now, after the whole thing with the 5 months training inside of the tower, Zuko and friends get out unscathed, as Bakugou and friends walk out and says, "How do you look so unscathed?" Because Zuko, sure, he took them to the Treadzillion floor with them, he just threw them back onto the 5000th floor, the floor where they left at. And they said, well, I healed everyone. As Bakugou says, then heal us. As Deku says, I don't think I need to. As Ida says, he's your classmate. You should help him to the best of your abilities. As Deku says, you're right. He is my classmate. I should help him to the best of my abilities. But I didn't see any of you helping me when I was at my lowest point, and you just abandoned me. As Ida shuts up real quick, as Uraraka walks up and slaps Deku and says, don't talk to my boyfriend or best friend like that. To which she gets slapped in the face by Fantamina, because Fantamina wasn't having this with them. As Fantamina says, if you ever hit my boyfriend again, I'll kill you. As Ida says, are you threatening your classmates? As Fantamina says, you did way worse than threaten your classmate with Izuku. You left him to rot and die. As Ida shuts up real quick. As Ida, he gets the idea, oh, I could just tell him not to hit their classmates and they'll shut up. As Ida says, you can't hit your classmates. As Izuku says, you're right. She can't. But was it not her who started this first? As Ida got quiet and stuff like that. And she says, but still, she wasn't a part of it. As he says, yeah, she wasn't until she slapped me. Anything that makes into contact with me that is not an object is either an enemy, an acquaintance, or a friend. And she seemed to be an enemy by the way she made contact with me, which was the slap. And she so happens to be my girlfriend, an overprotective one at that. As Ida, he got quiet. As Uraraka is knocked out, the last thing she ever heard before she got knocked out was, if you ever touch my boyfriend, I'll kill you. Now we skip to a month after. Now I'm gonna make this clear now. There are classes. Alright? Shinsu has a mind of its own, cause put your thoughts into the way of Shinsu. Would you really want somebody like Bakugou being a wave controller and controlling you? No, you wouldn't. So Shinsu has a mind of its own. Hold on. Now that you get the gist of how Shinsu has a mind of its own, now we get to the ranks, right? Yeah. So Shinsu has ranks of its own, and so do the outside, based on how high you get in the dungeon. Now the only people that know of not shit. No, you didn't hear that. As Lilith, yeah, I wanna Lilith. I wanna make a character named Lilith. Yeah, I'll make a character named Lilith for another what if. Sorry, I was thinking of another what if when I said that. I'm about to say Lilith, so sorry. So Izuku's rank is a national is a universe as omniversal class. All right, it's based on what you can destroy. He's an omniversal class. Then comes Fantamina class, which is Megaverse class. Megaverse, basically. Fantamina can destroy megaverses. Then comes Bomb, which is universal, and Ryu, who is also universal, and the rest is universal. Everybody else is universal except for Uric is not universal. He's galaxy versal. He's basically able to only destroy galaxies with his star, since he can't control that much bang. Yuri is solar system size. She can destroy a solar system without even trying. With like if she pushes herself to the limit. So Deku is currently the strongest, and now we get to the Shinsu. The Shinsu has a very good connection with Izuku, especially Izuku's Shinsu. Shinsu has its own form, well, Izuku's does at least, and Izuku's Shinsu looks like this. Yeah, it's an elf. Why? Because they're relatively calm creatures and they don't start problems. Sure, they may have chaotic thought processes sometime, but they're relatively calm, which is basically showing what Izuku is. Relatively calm but destructive. So yeah, so pay attention to this. This will be useful in the USJ, which I'm about to do after I'm done with all the explaining. So yeah, the classes are ranked as well. Deku is that national class and stuff like that with his friends. So Izuku was actually the first ever national class. So yeah. So after he's done with the Omniversal class, he'll be in a Beyond class. He'll be beyond Omniversal. So yeah. So Izuku, he is a destructive force of nature. So sorry. So now we get to how things are rolling and sailing with them. So they're having a rather perfect time. As now we skip to a month after that happened. That 5 months was just training for the USJ. As they go to the USJ, and All for One decides to attack with the League of Villains this time, so they don't need a no move. Now, this is where that Thorn came into play. Strong Thorn. As this thorn is a really special thorn. It's not like bombs, thorns, and stuff like that that hold. Well, it holds a lot of power, but it's used. But they have another specific like thing that it's used for. It transfers Shinsu to Izuku's body. Sure, Izuku's already Shinsu, and he can store almost all the Shinsu types and almost all of the Shinsu inside the tower, which is infinite inside of his body. He still needs to be transferred since the Shinsu inside of the USJ is weak. It's kind of weak compared to the ones outside. So, Izuku, the thorn, it does not have two rings as you see in the picture. It does not have one, it has 10. Well, originally it did have 10. There are exactly 10 of these, as same as bombs. But bombs, he split the powers of the thorns into two, which means he has now 20 thorns. So, Izuku, like bomb is training to get like each 20 thorn to like the size of this. So Izuku, the thorn is a rainbow thorn, which means it's able to suck in all the elements of Shinsu. And the 10th rings are inside the Tretzillion floor. The Tretzillion floor, which is the one with the 42 zeros, alright? So yeah. So it's basically taking in Shinsu and transferring the Shinsu into the thorn, or to be exact, into each ring. After it reaches the first ring, which is the ring right here, it goes into the thorn and gives it to Izuku via Ray. Alright? So, after that's done, it will basically be with Izuku. Izuku Shinsu would rather be with Izuku at all times, whether it be even in a weak form. His connection with his Shinsu is so strong that his Shinsu has to stop Izuku when Izuku is doing that hellish training of his. So, Izuku Shinsu is Omniversal as well, which is actually the strongest form of Shinsu. Alright? It has dominance over all Shinsu at this current moment in time. So yeah. So Izuku, he walks down and starts trash talking All for One, but All for One wasn't having it, and he got really irritated when Izuku mentioned his brother and punched Izuku, which Izuku exploded into water right before his eyes. And that water was not regular water, but Shinsu water. And the Shinsu water seeped into All for One's pores on his hand, which led to it reaching around every part of his body. And Izuku, he threw this ball. He threw this ball at All For One and it disappeared. All For One thinking, oh, it did not work. But what happened is the Shinsu that is Izuku's, like Izuku Shinsu that is inside All For One, sucked in the ball, or the Shinsu ball. This is no ordinary ball, this is an omniversal ball. He is only able to use 10 of these at the moment. He can't use them at once, but he's able to use 10. Like at once, he can use about 3 or 4. So yeah, you're getting the gist there. Alright? So yeah. So yeah, he can only use 3 or 4 at once, but Izuku just do 1. See, omniverses are outside of reality, so it also has fiction things a part of it. So imagine, so Izuku can just snap his finger and make it so that he feels the pain that Kaneki felt, and this is what he's actually doing to All For One. All For One Shinsu is reacting to Izuku Shinsu with, well, inferiority. It feels inferior. It can't control, it won't let All For One control it. The All For One won't be able to control his Shinsu anymore, since Izuku has more control over his Shinsu now. As Izuku says, oh, so it already happened. As All For One says, what happened? As Izuku says, that Shinsu of yours. It's mine now. As All For One hears this, and he basically starts trying to attack him. But his body won't allow him to, as Izuku snaps, and All For One explodes. Not only did he explode, but his core, which holds his Shinsu. He snaps again, and All For One reforms with his core intact. So, Izuku does that multiple times to wound All For One spiritually. His fighting spirit is now broken. Now it's time to hurt him mentally and psychopathically by making him watch his brother die in many different ways. Alright, he watched his brother die in many different ways, all of which, every time he dies, he blames All For One for the reason that he was quirkless. And All For One said, what about One For All? As he says, who had it first? It was you who had it first, not me. So yeah, that happened. So, Izuku, he basically wasn't having it with him. Izuku, he just, as Shigaraki tries to attack, but Izuku's friends weren't having it. Uric, he makes star spears, which attack the villains and burn them. Then comes Enryu with the rain, and he basically uses the rain thing on them. But we're all gonna skip that. They all use like their special moves, bombs. Bomb uses the 29th bomb style, Stardust. Even though there's the other one with the butterfly thing, but he uses Stardust. Then comes Yuri, who, well, takes the front lines and personally punches them. She does not use anything like the Green April or the Black March. See, here's something you need to understand. Yuri also has a version of the Black March like this. Yes, she has a version of the Black March like this, but Izuku's is stronger due to his stronger and condensed Shinsu control inside of the sword. Jihad, he basically uses Cosmos, alright? So yeah, so they beat the villains, except for Shigaraki and, Korigiri and All For One, as Shigaraki yells, Korigiri, get us out of here, as Korigiri warps All For One and stuff like that out. As everybody starts blaming Izuku and stuff like that for toying with All For One, and that's why they got away. As the teachers come in and they ask for an explanation in class, when they are the first to run to the teachers and say, oh, he let the villains get away and stuff like that. As All Might said, so you're working with the League of Villains. As Izuku ignores that comment. As All Might says it again. As Izuku, he turns around, he looks at All Might, and then he looks back at his friends, and he says, I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that. So yeah, he pretends he didn't hear that, as they go on with the schedule. Like, you may be wondering, oh, what about Aizawa? Aizawa was asleep because he knew that Deku and friends could handle it with their class, and all that stuff. So, yeah. So, they went on with that. Now, we skip to when they get back to UA. Nezu, he makes an announcement with the first years and says, everybody, you will be taking a 2 month break. And you may be wondering, why a 2 month break? Oh my god, are they gonna do some dumb shit? No, they're not doing a 2 month break because they're doing some dumb shit. It's because of the sports festival coming up. There is also going to be a tournament in the tower. Now, Deku and friends, they decided to go even higher in the tower. Well, Deku did to put cameras. Now, even though he's not strong enough to take on that level, he just did it so he can give them a better expectation of every floor in the tower. And that is, he went to the Novendecilian floor, alright? The one with the 60 zeros in it, alright? So yeah. So that happened. As Deku says, alright, as Nezu explains, the sports festival is coming up, blah blah blah, that, and stuff like that. So he says, expect the unexpected, and Deku, Bomb, and stuff like that. They already know what's gonna happen. Uric, he can see the future too. I know he has like Star Shinsu, but Izuku infused his Star Shinsu with a little bit of his future Shinsu, which allows Uric to see the future as well. So yeah, Izuku can see the Shinsu perfectly fine, better than the head of the Po Biden family as well. So yeah, he beat the Po Biden family like years ago. All right, so yeah, so for the 2 month break. Izuku, he's at home in the place of training, as he's training with all his friends as well. He's training with the whole group, and he does joint training sessions with Fantamino, and Bomb and Yuri be doing that bedtime sparring. So they do that nighttime sparring. So, and Pantamino did it with Izuku one time. So yeah. So next you see like the next day they come to the kitchen as Bomb, he looking knocked beyond compare. Like, alright, I'm gonna tell you this now. Jihad and Bomb and Izuku, they are never wearing their armor, alright? They don't wear their armor, alright? They're only wearing like regular clothes. So yeah, so Izuku, he's always wearing a shirt and stuff like that sometimes, because most of the time he likes wearing his shirt out with his tattoos, alright? Alright then, alright, I hope you guys remember these tattoos. And Jihad's always wearing the clothes. The whole armor pieces, they're not on him, and so does Izuku. No, not Izuku. So does Bomb. Bomb does not wear the pieces as well. Fantamina, Yuri have many different versions of their clothes. It's just that I like these pictures better, and I can't find any pictures. And Ryu wears the same clothes with the same style, so shit. As Uric, he only wearing the shorts. He be wearing them white shorts. So yeah. So Izuku and friends, they do that, and let's skim through these while I'm talking. So Deku's and friends. So basically, Deku asks Bomb, "Are you okay?" As Bomb says, "Oh no, I'm fine. As Yuri says, "Yeah, he's fine." See, as Deku says, "I don't think he's." As Yuri says, "He's fine." As Izuku says, "All right." As then we skip to 2 months later. Like, they had their breakfast and stuff like that, and they just trained for the 2 months. Now it's time for the sports festival. As like the 1v1 battles will be before the thing that happens with the tower. So first is an obstacle course. Yuri does not have Star Shinsu, he has Fire Shinsu. That star is made from condensed heat, which created a new type of Shinsu, which is Star Shinsu. So he has Star and Flame Shinsu, basically Heat Shinsu as well. So yeah. So the whole thing comes with the race first, as Zuko and friends, they don't go. They let everybody else leave, as Zuko says, "So why are you guys planning to leave?" As they said, "Well, the leader first." As Izuku says, "Alrighty then." As Izuku, he just blitzes everyone. He runs and blitzes them. And he gets first place. Then comes Fantamina, then Bomb, then Enryu, then Jihad, then Uric, And then comes Yuri. So yeah. So yeah. Bakugou, he came in at ninth place with Todoroki ahead of him. As Bakugou says, "Damn nerd, how dare you get first place," and he tries to attack Deku, to which he gets stopped by Uric, and Uric says, "I'm getting really sick and tired of you attacking Izuku." As Uric says, "Why not attack me instead? Since you like attacking people so much, I'll play with you." As Bakugou says, "Fine," as he attacks Uric, and Uric slams his head into the ground and says, "Yeah, that's what I thought. If you can't even survive one of my attacks, Zuko might as well just kill you." As Bakugou is out cold, as All Might jumps in front of Bakugou and says, "How dare you hurt my successor?" As he tries to punch Uric, and everybody's thinking, "Oh my God, he's punching a kid." As 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 Azuku's voice echoes out through the whole stadium and says, "Oh, don't worry, he's not a kid. Uric, he's a few trillion years old, and I'm infinity years old, so yeah." As Yuri catches All Might's punch, and All Might's thinking, "You were able to catch it, but what about the other one?" As he catches the other one and says, "Now I have my head." But then he tries to headbutt Uric, but his head hits a piece of metal, which is obviously Fantamina's big ass slaughter sword. As he says, "Ow," and right behind him is Yuri, ready to punch his head off. As it doesn't even hit him, as you see two of Bomb's thorns right next to All Might's temple, ready to stab on each side. And there is Deku's arm under All Might, ready to uppercut him, and Jihad on the top with the golden needle, ready to stab him. As all of a sudden, you hear each one of them say one by one, listen, like they said, "If you ever attack us again, we'll," as they all say in sync, "kill you." As they're releasing a lot of bloodlust. As they all have that menacing, nut job type look in their eyes that they're going to kill you. As they just hold back their bloodlust again, and Uric let go of All Might and said, "Go back to the stands." As All Might went back to the stands, as he picks up Bakugou and brings him to Recovery Girl, to which he's healed. Now they get to the cavalry battle, as Midnight says you can be in a groups of 3 or 4. Well, the more the merrier. As Izuku, he goes up to Midnight, and he grabs Midnight by the waist and says, "Narumi, sweetie, baby, can you let me do a team of 7? As he proceeds to kiss her. And Midnight, she slowly falls. She melts into that kiss. As then 2 minutes later, they break the kiss, as she says, "Yeah." As she sounds like a drunk person saying it too. As Izuku says, "Alright then," as he lets her stand perfectly fine. As everybody's saying, "Oh my God, isn't that a kid?" As Izuku says, "Again, we are older than any of you have been alive." As they're like, "Alright, they're older due to how much time they spent in the tower." As Izuku says, "Ding, ding, ding, but for me, it's not because of how long I've stayed in the tower." And they're like, "What does he mean?" And he says, "Don't worry about it." So then, into the cavalry battle with teams of 7. Now, there are 7 on top and 14 on the bottom. Basically, there's 2 clones of each person. 2 clones of Yuri, 2 clones of Bomb, 2 clones of Enryu, 2 clones of Uric, 2 clones of Izuku, 2 clones of Jihad, 2 clones of Fantamina, just carrying them, or to be exact, just floating them around. As they're floating, and the cavalry battle, it says, as Midnight says, ready, set, go. And all of a sudden, the clones, they charge at everyone and take headbands. They don't take the headbands of any important people like Bakugou and stuff like that, but like the irrelevant people that you did not see fight in the 1v1 battles. As everyone's complaining and saying shit like that, so yeah. As Nezu informed them saying, oh, the UA Sports Festival will be 2 days straight. First day will be like the regular sports festival, but there is a tower event on the second day. So yeah. So Izuku and friends, they basically blitz the thing, and they do that. As now it's time for the 1v1 battles. First fight, Shinso versus Izuku. Shinso, he actually tries to use his quirk. Shinso says, must be nice to have an awesome quirk, does isn't it? As Izuku says, quirk, what quirk? As Shinso says, ha, I got you. Now do me a favor and walk out the ring. As Izuku, he sits on the floor, and Shinso says, what? Get up! As Izuku, he opens his eyes and looks straight at Shinso and says, I'm sorry, but Izuku's not listening to your orders. And the eyes that he saw were these eyes. The eyes of the Jihad symbol. He made it so that the eyes of the Jihad symbol can take over him if he ever got controlled. So Shinso can't control 2 people at once, but there's also many others that he can control. After all, there are the golden eyes of Bomb, the Jihad symbol ones, and Uric's red eyes. So every symbol has a personality of their own, and there is also eyes with this one inside of it, and this one as well, and this one. So he practically can't get controlled. He has every eyes of his friends. Like, not literally like the Uchiha niggas. I'm not even gonna lie. How do the Uchiha even see? Because you need nerves in your eyes to see. What are their eyes connected to? Because their eyes don't seem to have anything being pulled out with them. So, the Uchihas should be blind. Alright? They should be blind to begin with. Alright? And so should Hinabi. But like, if we're being serious here, Hinabi should have the Tensei gun. Because they used her eyes. So she should have the Tensei gun. But anyways. So, Izuku, as the Jihad eye said, we'll give you one chance. You leave this ring right now, or we give control back to Izuku and he can pummel you. As nobody has seen Izuku's powers except for his friends and Class 1A, and Shinso, he says, I'll take my chances. As he gives Izuku back the power, and as Izuku gets up, and he charges at Shinso, and he appears right in front of Shinso in the blink of an eye before anyone can even see. And he punches Shinso out of the ring, knocking him into a crater and knocking him out. As the next match is Uraka versus Best Girl. Oh my god. Fantamina. And Fantamina pulls out the sword, and as President Mike says, you cannot use your weapons unless it's support weapons or weapons from the tower. As Fantamina says, oh, these are weapons from the towers. As she says, what, that big of a weapon? As everybody's saying, how can this skinny girl lift up such a big weapon? As Fantamina picks up the weapon and attacks Uraka. Uraka, what would I say she is? How long has it been since I started this? Just give me a little bit of time to think. Alright, I got my thinking into play. She is a scout, but she learned a little bit of the spear. Why? Because she needs to stay long range from the enemy if she wants to run away, because her position mostly works with speed. So, yeah. So, Uraka basically takes out a spear and starts attacking Fantamina, but Fantamina closes the speed, closes the distance rather quickly, and hits her with the back of the sword, knocking her into the wall knocking her into the crater next to Shinso, where she is also knocked out. Cause Deku and friends ain't having that. Like, dead ass. As now it's Uric versus Bakugou. As Uric wants to fight Bakugou, but he remembers Bakugou has to fight against Deku first. As Uric says, I forfeit. As everybody's wondering why. As Bakugou says, ha, you know you can't beat me. As Uric says, no, I can beat you rather easily. It's that somebody else wants to fight you. As Bakugou's looking around, he says, who? As then you see Uric point at Izuku, and Izuku, he is staring daggers at Bakugou. He basically has like his eyes basically look like this. He's looking at Bakugou. As Bakugou gets a little bit of a chill, but he ignores it and says, like he could ever beat me. I'll beat him before he even knows what hit him. I'll eliminate him from this competition. So yeah. So next is Yuri versus Monama. Cause Monama wasn't in it in the anime, so I'm putting Monama in it. As Yuri, she gets really annoyed by how Monama is talking shit. And she just charges at Monama and, beats the living out of him. So Monama, he's beat badly to the point where recovery girl gotta spend a few hours with him. So yeah, that happens. Next is Jihad versus Tetsu. Tetsu, you already know the rest. Jihad wins. Then comes Enryu versus Ibara. Since Enryu had to verse Denki first, but Denki, he short-wired, he short-circuit, he got bodied, even if he had lightning Shinsu. So yeah, everybody in Deku's team except for Uric goes forward. Next comes Bakugou versus Enryu, and Enryu says, I forfeit because Enryu knows what Uric was talking about. Bakugou says, God damn it, I want to fight too. As now it's time for Deku versus Fantamina. And Deku wins that. Then it's Bomb versus Jihad. Since Jihad got stronger, the two are tied now. As they fought for about 30 minutes and they got tied. Alright? As they're both huffing and puffing, and Jihad says, he raises up his hand and says, I forfeit. As he looks at Bomb and says, can't wait until our next match. As Bomb said, yeah, can't wait. That happened. So, Enryu is still stronger than Jihad. But, remember, Jihad is a fisherman. He may be a wave controller, but he's also a fisherman. So, that happens. Now, Deku beats Fantamina. And then, now it's time for the semifinals. Yay! Now it's Bomb versus Bakugou. And Bomb forfeits, as Bakugou says, why do you idiots keep forfeiting? Are you scared you'll get that beat by me? As they all yell out, No, we're waiting for somebody else to kick your ass before we can do it. As Bakugou says, that damn nerd's never kicking my ass. It's the opposite way around. So yeah. So then, now it's time for who was it again? Who was it that won? Who else was it that won? Da, 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 da. I'm loving it. Who else was it that won? So I'm sorry if you had to hear that. I think it was either Yuri or It was Yuri, right? Yuri, right? Yeah, Yuri. It was Yuri. Yuri lost against. She actually forfeit against Deku because she knows she can't beat Deku when it comes to wave controlling. So yeah. Oh, somebody wanted shoutouts, so I can't really do shoutouts because I'd have to show my whole comments. But like, anyways, good. It's off. I like this comment. I like it. So yeah, somebody want to shout outs? I'm shouting out every person in my comments. Yes, there are shout outs now. I didn't really want to do it because I don't get really a lot of hate in the comments because, well, I told you guys not to do hate. Just like if you guys can compliment me in the comments. I don't show hate comments because, well, hate comments. Who would want to show those unless you're trying to expose the person, right? So yeah, I'll check most of these later. So don't worry, guys. I'll check them later. So yeah. So I'll reply to as much of you as I can. So yeah. All right, back to that. I have a lot of shit. Our thought process is slow. Where was I? Yes. So now it's Bakugou versus Deku. As Bakugou says, ready to get humiliated, nerd. As Deku says, yeah, sure, whatever. As all of a sudden, Bakugou charges at Deku and explodes Deku. And all of a sudden, Deku, he falls into a puddle of red Shinsu. Everybody thinks Bakugou killed Deku, or to be exact, obliterated him. But in fact, it's just the Shinsu. As everybody's saying, oh, he killed someone, as Midnight says, due to disqualification, you are out. And Bakugou says, as he's about to walk out, but all of a sudden, his head gets grabbed by none other than Izuku, who launches him into the air. And they're like, wait, isn't he dead? As Izuku says, I can't die. As he jumps up, grabs Bakugou by the head, and throws him. He throws him to the floor, to which Bakugou makes a giant crater into the ring. As Izuku, he was not having this, cause he hates Bakugou with a passion. He makes Dark Cosmos, his Dark Cosmos. Like I said, I changed the bottom now. The bottom, Galaxy, Universe, Multiverse, Megaverse. As he throws it on Bakugou, and there is a big explosion. And before the explosion could reach the audience, Izuku snaps, and the explosion goes inside and disappears into confetti. So yeah, that happens. As Bakugou, he looks fried and a little bit melted. But overall, he is knocked out. As they have to wait an hour because the pain that Bakugou sustained. As in the end, Tsuyu healed Bakugou because she learned a little bit of healing Shinsu that can help with healing. As she healed Bakugou and stuff like that. Now, May, she was in it too, as now it's time for the award ceremony. As Kun comes down in front of May and says congrats, as May hugs him and yells out, Master Kun, as Bomb hears this and he looks and says, wait, Kun? As Kun says, Bomb, let me show you what Kun looks like. We gotta have my son Kun dripped out. As Kun says, oh, hey there, Bomb. As Bomb, he says, Kun! As he jumps on Kun and Kun gets him and says, still as energetic as ever, I see, huh? As Jihad looks up and says, head of the Kun family, how are you? As Kun says, hey there, Jihad, how you been? As Jihad says, well, back on the adventures. As he says, oh, was it Bomb this time? As he says, no, actually, it's actually our best friend. As he says, who? As Izuku walks up and says, so you're the famous Kun head. As he says, yeah, so you must be the famous number 1 rank in the tower. As Izuku says, so you heard about that, huh? As he says, yup. As everybody says, what? Rank 1 in the tower? Isn't that person the riddle? As Fantamina says, nope, I'm no longer number 1 ranked. As they said, what? You're not the riddle? As Fantamina says, yes, I am. As Izuku says, yeah, that's the riddle. That's the riddle. As Kun says, Fantamina, long time no see, how are you? As she says, I'm doing great. As Yuri says, oh, so obviously we're forgetting major figures in your life, huh? As Kun says, oh, Yuri, calm down. It's not like I forgot you, I mean, you married my best friend. As Yuri says, alright, I'll let that slide. As Kun says, so, you guys joined the school? As he says, yeah. As Kun says, you know what? Maybe I'll join as well. As he says, really? As he says, yep. As let me get another picture of his father like son, right? So he inherited the lightning Shinsu because of his connection with Shinsu now after doing the training that Bomb told him with how Izuku did, and he tried it as he unlocked the lightning Shinsu. Apart from ice, he has lightning Shinsu and fire Shinsu, but he doesn't have like the full potential of fire Shinsu. So he says, you know what, I'll join. As he goes to Nezu and says, I'd like to join you, eh? Is it okay if I fight? As he says, sure. As Nezu says, it seems that there is a newcomer and he wants to join you, eh? As he says he is fully prepared to fight in the test. But he won't be ranked since he joined late. As Kun said, that's perfectly fine. As he says you will be facing off with the first place player, Izuku Midoriya. As Kun, he gets down from the Yellow Sphere and says, as he starts stretching and says, fighting against the rank number 1 inside of the tower. I'm really excited. As Bakugou, it's at this time that Bakugou woke up and said, rank number 1. Isn't the rank number 1 the riddle? As Fantamina says, no, I'm no longer the number 1. It's Izuku. As he says, what? How are you the riddle? You don't even know who the riddle is. As she says, I am the riddle. My name is Fantamina. As Bakugou says, what? How? Impossible. As Izuku says, damn. Huh. So I get to fight against rank number 8 in the tower. I'm really surprised. If only rank number 9 were here as well. But Rak is not here. Rak is the one that taught Suyu about, spear bearing. No, Uraka spear bearing. Surprisingly, right? But Rak only taught her like a little bit, alright? So yeah. So all of a sudden these 4 portals, 5 no, not 8, 9 portals open up and as lightning spears come out and they shoot at Izuku. As Izuku, he makes his arm into a circle, and in the circle you just see a yellow and blue yin-yang sign. And all of a sudden, out of the blue side comes this blue phoenix, and the gold side comes this dragon. As he says, life's destruction. As all you see is the dragon attack Kun and Kun loses. As Izuku goes to Kun and says, "You put up a good fight," as he says, "but still, you're going up against number one." As he pulls Kun up and says, "Damn, I really need to control my Shinsu." As Izuku taps him on the head and says, "Don't worry about that. You can train with us. After all, you're gonna be in the group when you join, right?" As Kun, he smiles and says, "Yeah." As So yeah, you get the gist. He's not as serious as he was when Jihad was king, cause he was ready to cause he already killed that Jihad princess, the Kun Jihad princess. So yeah, hold on. Then all you see is ice in case Kun, and the ice breaks and he looks like this. As he says, "Oh, transformation ice, nice. Kind of like my space transformation." As he snaps, and he has an outfit for his. As when he snaps, this outfit appears on him, and Jihad says, "Wait a damn minute," as he snaps as well, and he has the same outfit on, and Jihad and Izuku dab each other up and said, "Twins!" As yeah, so you get the gist. As they just go back to the seating, as they go back to the stands, and Izuku, he's basically wearing this for the rest of the time, and they get their rings. Izuku first, then comes Bakugou, and then is Yuri, would I say? Yuri? Yeah, Yuri, since she actually decided to put up a fight. So yeah, and Enyu's fourth. So yeah. So we skip to the next day. Like they got home, they showered and stuff like that. Deku and Fantamina did a little bit of bathroom sparring, and Kun started living with Izuku, so they had to make an extra room. And Rak is gonna be in this too, but they're gonna meet inside the tower on the day while they're doing the whole tournament thing. As while they were talking in the kitchen and stuff like that, Bomb asks, "Hey Kun, do you know where Rak is?" As Kun says, "Yeah, I actually happen to know where he is. He's currently he said that he had a student that he taught a little bit of spear bearing to." As he says, "Really? What's her name?" Or his name. As he says her name was Uraka. As Izuku hears that name and says, "Tell rank number 8 to stop teaching her." As Kun says, "Why? Did something happen?" As he explains what happened, Kun says, "Ah, alright then. I'll get it done when we get inside the tower." As he says, "Thanks." So we skip to the next day, to which Deku and friends appear in front of the thing, with Deku and Jihad wearing this, Kun wearing this, Uric wearing this, and Enryu's not wearing this. Enryu is wearing this, alright? Yes. Enryu is wearing that. Change up in style, so is Bomb wearing. Bomb is twinning with Enryu, basically. And Yuri, she's basically. Hold on. So Yuri comes in wearing the third outfit you see next to the hand with the bracelet. And, Fantamina is wearing the second one. The one in the middle, basically. Fantamina, Yuri. So they're matching twins. And Uric is twinning with Enryu, but Uric asked Izuku to modify his body to make him thin. Thin, not buff anymore, but like thin. He's like toned now. So he basically looks like this. So Izuku, so let me tell you who's twinning. So yeah, so Izuku, Jihad, and Bomb twinning. No, Izuku, Jihad, and Bomb twinning. They're triplets. Then comes Enryu and Uric twinning. Then comes Fantamina and Yuri, they're twinning. And then comes Kun, who is the odd one out. The dribbler, the odd one out. That's crazy. So yeah. So you know the layout. They all coming in with the drip. And everybody's looking at them like, oh my god, they look so good. As everybody just watching them come in with the drip. Like Deku, like it's not the same design. Like it's not the same design basically. It's not the same design. Instead of it like, alright. Like this is not, it's not gold and black anymore. It's white and silver. Alright, it's white and silver this time. It's white and silver and the pants are black. This is the same and this is the same. As they come in with they come in clutch. Like shit, they looking with they have the drip. So yeah. So basically woken in, and Bakugou in class when they woke up to them, and Bakugou says, planning to get those dirty. As Deku says, quite honestly, our clothes can't get dirty. As Bakugou says, dare to mock me. As yeah. Now it's time for the test to begin. They go inside, and Izuku and friends are just walking around, basically. As Izuku, he looks at Kun and says, hey Kun. As Kun said, yeah, what is it? And Izuku says, do you know where Rack is? As he says, yeah, I got you. As they go to Rack, and let me show you what Rack looks like. As they knock on the door, Rack opens up and says, alright, I'm coming, alright, stop. So yeah, Rack opens the door, and he's wearing this outfit. As he opens the door and he looks and says, blue turtle, black turtle. As he jumps on them and says, blue turtle, black turtle, I missed you, as he's crying on their shoulders. And Kun says, there, Rack, we're here.